Dealing with the Arrow Cross was one thing. Dealing with the Nazis was another. Eichmann returned to Budapest and began his deportations again. Only this time he had a problem. The trains couldn't be used to bring the Jews to the death camps. They were being used in the war effort. It didn't stop Eichmann. He marched the Jews 125 miles to the Austrian border. And there he put them on trains to go to the death camps. 125 miles. Old men, women, children, in the cold and rain and snow of early November. They were expected to make 25 miles a day. There was no food, no water, no shelter. It was a death march. If you straggled behind, guards beat you. If you stumbled and fell, Hungarian guards released their dogs or just shot you. Some people collapsed and died. Some went to sleep, never to wake in the morning. Some froze to death. Many hanged themselves from trees to avoid the suffering. It's estimated 10,000 Jews died on those marches. Wallenberg, he rode up and down the lines, giving them food, medicine. He had blank Schutz passes. He filled them out on the spot. He said, "I will save you with the trains." And then he would go to the depot. He knew that the Nazis respected authority, and so he wore a long leather coat, a big black fur hat. He carried a black official-looking book. And his car would roar into the depot, and Wallenberg would leap out, playing the enraged official. He'd hold his credentials up and he'd yell, "I am Wallenberg of the Swedish legation. You have Jews here who are carrying Schutz passes. They are safety passes. They are under the protection of the Swedish government. I demand they be released. Those with Schutz passes, raise them, get in line over there." Now, Wallenberg didn't care if they had Schutz passes or not. He was walking through the crowd this whole time. He would say, you, I gave you a pass. The Arrow Cross must have taken it. You get in line. When the Jews began to understand what he was doing, they began to show him anything. Receipts, ration cards, and Wallenberg would accept them all. Sometimes he would grab a Schutz pass and he would pass it to a helper who would give it to another Jew. If he were confronted, he'd grow enraged. He'd grab a Schutz pass and he'd point at it and he'd shout, "Aber das ist meinen Ausweis geschrieben. These are my initials. What's your name?" He'd demand the soldier's name. He'd make the soldier get the names of all of his unit. He threatened to report them all. Well, you know, they did what he said. He had an air of authority about him. And they were so surprised. They just followed his orders. His only regret was that he couldn't save everyone. Once when he was leaving the station with a truck full of Jews, he shouted back, "I'm sorry. I'm taking the youngest first. I'm trying to build a nation." It's estimated that Wallenberg personally pulled 2,000 Jews off those trains.